The idea was really popular because it was bringing money, resources, opportunities into the community. But then how would we make sure that it did not reach the same old, but people who had ideas hadn't necessarily had the chance to develop them?
The real aim of the fund, as we designed it, was to really make everyone think they could develop an idea and get support. Then, with the fund, of course, also a little bit of economical support. But economical support, it's not just what you need. You need much more, I think.
So as few rules as possible, and a very easy application process, etc., etc., etc.
We were asking specifically for projects that were focused on Kilburn. So the idea was to fund projects which would each be worth between £5,000 and £10,000.
And it's sort of trying to enable something to come out that you haven't even thought that you needed.
I was involved in the selection process by the reading of all the applications, and then also like the meetings where the applications were read and discussed and shortlisted.
It was very successful. Got a lot of applications. I read them all, yeah.
I think that was a very successful part of it, with people being brought in and putting forward projects. And I mean, which I think astounded everybody, the breadth of groups that came forward.
And we worked together and looking at the diversity and also the sadness of having to exclude some because they might not have met all the criteria. The time that we spend there thinking about how can we fund this project that we cannot fund now, how can we support these other projects. So to see in front of our eyes this wide range of projects that were all potentially successful, to see how rich was the creativity in Kilburn.
What was my role? I guess just there was a group of us, and there was kind of an equal sense of role, but like just bringing like your eye in that group, so like your experience. Maybe for me it would be like an awareness of like arts and cultural stuff in the area. But yeah, also I think like I kind of saw my role in that selection process as like advocating for projects that I think maybe like need closer inspection and maybe more support, revisiting applications and making sure that everyone has understood like what the potential of a project really is, actually that there's a real like need in our community for something like that.
What was very innovative was that we agreed at the outset that the funding decision would be taken on the basis of a vote of local residents. And the votes took place both online and in person. The voting process was run over several weeks. The applicants behind the proposals were also allowed to promote their own applications. They helped with the publicity effort in a sense, even though they were doing it from the perspective of trying to garner votes for their proposals.
But then because we had so many votes and we could see the distribution of the votes, of course, we said, well, actually, I think this needs to be redeveloped.
There aren't very many cases of community projects such as this being awarded through public votes. So we'd like to think that we've set perhaps a little bit of a precedent, maybe.
We obviously know that one of the things about that process is that everybody applying for funding is going to have a different like level of like application towards the process, depending on resources, support, experience.
It's a big barrier for a lot of people that have huge ideas to make this idea be seen as something that is worth investing in.
New and evolving groups probably needed a bit more protection.
The mentoring, I think, was one of the main interesting things in the One Kilburn Fund.
Okay, you need to address certain criteria, but we will actually help you to do this. We will offer you some mentoring. We will put you in touch with organisations that have more experience in running projects.
Like, if we see potential in a project that's really important for a specific community, they should be entitled to mentorship. That means that they can really do their best version of their project.
As a community funding group, we thought that this was really important, that we couldn't just do something to give funding to organizations that already were established. So we wanted as much as possible to support individuals or organizations or small projects that were not.